Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days. In today's video, we'll extend out then and have a look at the next month with the CFS B2, and I'll get with that for you in a second. But before I get on with that, just very quickly to say about the competition that we're going to be launching at Gazworthy shortly. We announced this on Sunday, but the 4th year running, we're teaming up with metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation on Metcheck's website at the moment. We're going to be running this competition from Sunday the 9th of April through to Sunday the 16th of April, which is Easter Sunday. So I'll have much more about how you can enter and what the prize is that we're giving away and that kind of thing in a few days' time. But it's a very unique and quite bespoke prize that we're giving away this year, courtesy of metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation. And just stay tuned for more about that over the coming days. Right, going on with today's video. Quite interesting weather today. Not much going on the radar picture from the weather outlook at the moment, but there are some showers down in the southwest already starting to spark off, and these are going to be pushing northwards and eastwards through the course of this afternoon, possibly giving some thunder. There's the precipitation forecast from the GFS model for 6 o'clock this evening. You see, particularly across parts of northern England, but also down into eastern England, there is some precipitation. And there is a little bit of CAPE available today. This is the CAPE and lifted index chart. You see, you've got these green colours here, particularly in the north and the east, indicating there's probably enough CAPE available within the atmosphere to be able to hear some rumbles of thunder in those heavy downpours, heavy showers this afternoon. There might be a few flashes of lightning as well. So pretty unusual. It's very warm air mass as well that's coming up with these thundery showers. So we might see temperatures up to 18 degrees this afternoon, which is into mid-60s Fahrenheit. Pretty unusual conditions for March, so don't be that surprised to hear the odd rumble of thunder, see a flash of lightning somewhere this afternoon. Of course, if you catch any thundery showers and you're able to take any pictures, you can email your lightning pictures to gazworthies@gmail.com or post them in the comment box at Gazworthies. So we're always happy to feature them in the videos. Right, the GFS ensembles next couple of weeks looking like this. The red line here is the 30-year temperature average. We're in a mild air mass at the moment and going to stay that way. Actually, temperature could be lifting up towards the end of the week. We might get 21 Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit, can you believe, on Thursday. That's more like what you'd expect in June rather than March. So very warm day potentially coming up on Thursday. After that, a bit of a cool down into the weekend. Not cold, but just going closer to average. Then it looks like next week the temperatures are lifting off again. So overall, it's a very mild period coming up, most definitely. Precipitation, a lot of dry weather over the next few days. I've got those thundery showers today. And they'll be particularly in the north, I think, less so in the south, but even so, there could be some thundery showers around today. Then a more definite area of precipitation there around the turn of month. That's the 1st of April, just there. We have got some rainfall and more on a settle spell Friday and into weekend. But after that, again, a lot of dry weather as we're going through next week. Temperature anomalies, so next week, this is from the 28th of March to the 5th of April, coming out significantly mild and average, as it is for many, many parts of Europe as well. And precipitation anomalies showing that for the south and the east, it is largely dry and average. It's a little bit more unsettled in the northwest, and expect these to start trending drier over the next few days. In America, it's a fairly mild scene as well, so it's colder out in the west. Temperature anomalies there from the 28th of March, 5th of April, a bit cold average. Many midwestern and eastern regions coming out slightly milder than average. Precipitation is turning drier down the Pacific coast around California, and it's also fairly dry up in the northeast, but elsewhere there's a lot of precipitation, particularly through this central swathe. Notice some very wet weather, precipitation anomalies coming out significantly wetter than average through what is normally the very dry state of Texas. So that's the kind of thing you tend to get with El Nino, actually. You tend to get it wetter down in the south during El Nino periods. We might already be seeing a bit of an atmospheric response to fairly warm sea surface temperature anomalies in the eastern equatorial Pacific over towards the Peruvian coast. So it's wet through the central states, it's dry anomalies in the western states, and also fairly dry up in the northeast as well. Coming back close to home then, this is how GFS is seeing things for Saturday, which looks unsettled. There's a trough coming across the country, so expect showers along with spells of rain on Saturday. But by sunny into the start of next week, high pressure pushing back in from the Azores, so a lot of dry weather coming up then. And then as we go through the course of next week, this takes up to Wednesday, where we've got high pressure dominating the weather. A bit of an easterly wind down in the south could bring more cloud and a slightly cooler feel down there. But overall, again, the weather set fair there for the early part of April. We extend up to day 10, which is Friday 7th of April, and high pressure is really in control of the pattern. Winds going into the south or southeast, so that looks like it should be largely dry. There might be some thundery showers down in the south and southwest, but I would suspect there's a lot of dry, pretty warm weather coming through with that. ECWF looks like this, bringing the trough across the country on Saturday. It's going to be unsettled to start the weekend. Then the ridge building back up from the southwest. That high pressure becomes increasingly influential through the course of next week. By Wednesday, 5th of April, high pressure is dominating from the Azores. And then that high pressure's in then through to the second half of next week. This takes us to day 10, Friday 7th of April, where we've got high pressure centred right over top of the country at 1,030 millibars. That looks dry, and I suspect will be quite warm as well, with temperatures at least into the mid-teens Celsius. Extending out beyond that with CFS V2, so these are the 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. The first week period taking us from the 28th of March to the 3rd of April. The coming week then has a ridge very close to the country, a lot of dry and settled weather coming up. Some influence from the Atlantic via that trough, but overall I think we get plenty of dry weather in the weekend. A little bit more of an unsettling interlude, of course, around Friday and Saturday. Week 2, which takes us from the 4th to the 10th of April, shows we have above average heights down to the south and southwest of us, low pressure up to the north. The flows coming through like that. So the most unsettled conditions are probable for Scotland, for England and Wales, and particularly Ireland as well. I would suspect there's a lot of dry weather coming through. High pressure fest continues into week 3. This is the 11th through to the 17th of April. We've got above average heights more or less centred over the top of the country. It's ever so slightly to the west, which might allow some slightly cooler air perhaps to come down from the northwest. But again, overall, a lot of dry and settled weather in there up to the middle part of April. And then we go through into the second half of April, this taking us from the 18th to the 24th of April, when again got ridging through the UK, extending from the Atlantic into Europe as well. Low pressures up here and down here, but for us we're under this fairly big ridge, so a lot of dry and settled weather will continue into the second half of April. You have to say, we're having a really good spring at the moment in terms of warm and dry conditions. There's no real sign of this breaking for April, so it could well be that April's going to continue where March leaves off. It has a lot of dry weather, fairly warm temperatures at times as well, perhaps. Coming back to the more immediate time frame, next week to 10 days. So it looks like we're going to have a lot of dry and fairly warm weather until around Thursday, when we will find the, or in the southeast anyway, to around Thursday, being a bit more unsettled in the north and west. And then, as go through to the end of the week, Friday, Saturday turns more widely unsettled. So we get a more unsettled interlude Friday, Saturday. After that, high pressure's back up from the Azores, building back up. And next week looks like it turns increasingly settled, dry and warm through the first week of April. And that may extend out beyond that, perhaps into the middle part of April. Right, that's all now. 5-day forecast. Tomorrow we'll also have a look at the week to 10-day period as well. So come back for all of that tomorrow. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.